Okay, look at the screen real quick. This is the face of a prophet. If you don't know who he is, go look him up on the internet somewhere. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm Nerdicane. I want to read something really quick. Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. Xi doesn't look just like Winnie the Pooh at all. Tune in to our 300th episode this Wednesday at 10. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May this autumn's sorghum harvest be bountiful. We good, China? Now, that's a little out of context. You may not understand what that is. That was Matt Stone and Trey Parker's response to the Chinese government. Let me get this. Banning South Park. All of South Park. This is in response to banning Winnie the Pooh, who South Park mocked, and then to quell the fire, China banned South Park. Look, we should live every day, in everything we do, in every video we do, in every post that we do, we should try to live up to the example that Matt Stone and Trey Parker have set for us. Now, let me give you a little breakdown of the situation. Okay, so Hong Kong was a British territory. It's a British city. The British built it. It became a world economic power. In 2000, as per the contract, it was given back to China. China has started to kind of erode the freedoms that the people of Hong Kong have enjoyed for so long. Now they've introduced a law that would make it legal for China to extradite people from Hong Kong into the Chinese system, into the mainland Chinese system. Well, once you go into the mainland Chinese system of prisons, you disappear. You go to forced labor camps. You just completely disappear. It's basically torture. It's funny. People talk about how the terrible conditions of American prisons. American prisons are like Club Med. It's like a spa vacation compared to prisons in China. So there are protests, very violent protests too. You should really keep abreast of the situation because this is one of those, the flames of freedom is, they're trying to extinguish it, and that's somewhere in the world. And that's really something that people should pay attention to more closely. So the protesters have pointed out that Chinese president for life, Xi Jinping, looks exactly like Winnie the Pooh. And this has been highlighted, and they like to use this in a mocking manner. Well, China and Xi Jinping did the thing, they did the thing that a responsible adult acting country would do. They banned Winnie the Pooh. It absolutely, this is so perfectly communist in response. So South Park, they awakened, in doing this, they awakened the gods of free speech that are Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They created a show called, an episode, it was their 299th episode. It was called Banned in China. And it was about Randy going to China to sell weed, which is very, very illegal. You can get, I think it's a minimum of 8 years in prison there in China if you get caught with weed. I can't remember. I can't remember if that's Cuba or China, which is completely bizarre when you think about it. But so he goes there, he gets busted, he gets thrown in jail, and it has to do with his Integrity weed farm, So they go there, and it's through Stan, they sort of tell the story that, he wants to bring his music and his band to China to cash in on that Chinese money, and the whole time, and it gets comical because the Chinese censors, he's trying to write a song, and the Chinese censor is like pacing back and forth behind him and looking over his shoulder, and will take the pencil out of his hand and scratch things out or rewrite things. So it's great. It's a really great episode. If they don't win an Emmy for that, then we should probably start burning down the Emmys as it is. So there are other incidents that China has been interfering with our art for a long time. People haven't really taken notice of it. With Black Panther, in all the movie posters, they kept the mask on T'Challa. because they didn't want to, they didn't want to have a black man front and center in their posters. The Chinese versions of Star Wars, Finn has had a reduced role, and it's all these companies, all these movie making companies, they're having trouble selling their product here in America because we're just tired of their woke shit. So they go after the Chinese market, which is like the least woke shit on the planet, because of the censors and they like to. You talk about repression of people of color in the industry, China, and that's the market that you're going to. So a lot of people are starting to wake up to this. We had a censorship incident recently with the NBA. Fans held up a pro Hong Kong sign and was escorted out and was basically just forced out. Blizzard decided to step in it too. It's the most virtue signally, one of the most virtue signaling companies making games out there. Remember when they were the gold standard? I used to really respect Blizzard. They had a philosophy of, they didn't get into the trend of releasing games that weren't ready. Their philosophy was the game will be released when it's ready. And they backed it up by putting out a good product. But Blizzard, through their Hearthstone game, a guy named Blitzchung, on a live stream, he really didn't even say anything. He said the things that he said and the things that he's posted were on his website, his social media. He had it's basically ski goggles and a painter's mask, a gas mask, which has kind of become the symbol for the Hong Kong protests, because all the tear gas that the Chinese have been using against them. He wore that, and Blizzard banned him for I think a year, and then he was a champion, and they took his prize money away, and that thankfully was kicking the hornet's nest. The fans revolted, and they're still revolting. If you're playing a Blizzard game, if you're playing WoW, World of Warcraft, actively, I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I'm not gonna tell you to stop playing it. But if you support freedom and you support Hong Kong, why aren't there riots in WoW? People in the game should be burning cities and changing their guild names to something supporting Hong Kong. But Blizz is taking it in the teeth right now because the fans are not happy. I'm really excited. This is something that I sort of started thinking about years ago, is just the influence on, and it wasn't the media back then, it wasn't our movies back then, on our industry that China had taken, and through Walmart. There's a really good documentary. PBS did it. It's called "Is Walmart Good for America?" Go find that. That's a really eye-opening documentary about China and the manufacturing, and how how Walmart is sort of like and I'm pretty sure they still are, handing manufacturing to China. It's a really good watch. You should go check it out. But a lot of people, I think this is a really good move, and I'm really happy this is happening. A lot of people are waking up, and hopefully they start to do what I've been trying to do, is look at the tabs on your clothing, on your shoes, your TV, where it comes from, and look at those things, see where it comes from. If it's China, don't buy it. Try to see if you can find an alternative. I did this a few years ago where I tried to switch my shoes, my clothes, everything to American manufacturing, and it's really hard. There's a couple of good websites. I will link in the description to a couple of good websites where you can find jeans and shirts and shoes and electronics. There's very, very, very few electronics you can find, so I kind of had to compromise there. But if there's anything that comes out of this protest, I really, really hope there's two lessons learned. I hope the companies, the game producers and the movie industry kind of learns their lesson that, hey, we've been turning a blind eye to this regime, this censorious regime, in a totalitarian regime in China. The Hollywood actors love to call Trump a dictator and a totalitarian, when they're catering their movies to a totalitarian dictator over in China. The irony that is funny, and I really hope that they start to see that, and I really hope gamers start to see that too, and start to think, okay, do I really need to play this game, Hearthstone, that caters to this Chinese market and what they're doing? And I really, this I saw this happening with that the sequel to Diablo Immortal, I think it's called, when they switched it to be a mobile game, and players were furious about that. But the problem with that is they quickly forgot about it because changing to a mobile game was directly marketing it to the Chinese, and that's everybody was hoping for a sequel announcement to Diablo, and what they announced was a mobile game, which that was there was a little bit of protest, but I really hope the one thing that we get out of this is start looking at your tags, start looking at where your stuff comes from, kind of reevaluate and take a really clear look at what China is doing in the world, especially in Hong Kong, and to the Tibetan people and the people of Singapore, and what they're doing to them, and what they've been doing to them for years. So yeah, I hope people kind of figure that out and start to take a harder look at that and start calling people out. People who shill for them. It's a fun time. It's a really fun time to be on the actual social media, not the woke NPC garbage, but things like that. And the funniest part, Pepe has joined the fight in Hong Kong. So you start to see Pepe in there as a symbol of protest. But I think the really big one is people are starting to use Mei from Overwatch as a symbol in the Hong Kong protests. So that is the one that I'm very interested to see how that turns out. But thank you for watching. Hit a like, hit a subscribe. Take a few minutes today. Look at your clothing. Look at your shoes. See where it's made. And I hope you hit the links to the websites where you can find things that aren't made in China, things that are made a little more in America. And if you can, yes, it is a little more expensive. If you can afford it, please buy American. But thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. You guys go out. Have a great day. Bye.